Right now, Nonstop Local at 6. We are under a heat wave, especially as we head into the week ahead. Excessive heat warnings in place until Friday. We are going to be reaching those triple digits here in Spokane. When? Those details coming up.
And we're not quite in those triple digits yet, but plenty of people still trying to beat the heat.
We're going to be in the water a lot. Sunscreen, hats.
The ways people are cooling off around the region as temperatures approach those triple digits.
I spoke with the Spokane Fire Department's water rescue team about how you can stay safe on the water next week during that heat spell. That's coming up.
From the home of the 2024 Paris Olympic Summer Games, you're watching Nonstop Local KHQ at 6.
I got to paint a house actually next week, and so there's just no way for me to avoid the sun. You know, work in the shade. Yeah, try to follow the shade around.
Yeah, shade is a must, along with water and sunscreen as the inland Northwest and a lot of the country gets ready for our first triple digits of the summer. Our Nonstop Local weather team has issued a weather alert as we are under an excessive heat warning for the next several days. Good evening and thanks for joining us here on this hot Saturday. I'm Guy Tannenbaum in for John Webb. Let's get right over to Ava Wainhouse. And Ava, if people thought it was hot today, just wait till tomorrow and next work week, right?
Oh, yeah. I think that's an appropriate reaction.
Yeah,
it's going to be
yucky.
very, very hot. Today is really just the coolest day so far, really in the next 7 days. So we are going to be looking at this heat wave really as we head into the next week. As for those current conditions, today, again, not too bad. 92 degrees here in Spokane, so feeling like a normal summer. 88 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, about 85 in Pullman. Clear skies for us across the board. Pretty light winds, picking up a little bit in Coeur d'Alene at 10 miles per hour. So not too bad for our Saturday. But again, we are going to be welcoming much hotter conditions. That excessive heat wave is going to be in full force, especially by the next few days, by midweek. Today, really through Friday, these excessive heat warnings will be in place, and many of the advisories, we have watches in place all the way down to Boise. So it's going to be very hot across the inland Northwest, all the way down, and really across the country. Like I said, it's going to be very, very hot. Highs in the mid-90s to those triple digits. So again, obviously there's an increased risk of heat-related illnesses. Things to keep in mind, we experience these temperatures every summer, but the first few triple digits of the season always kind of come as a shock. So reminding each other what you need to know is just crucial. Low temperatures overnight, something to keep in mind here. We're not going to be getting much relief overnight. 61 degrees here in Spokane, 60 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, and that's only going to get warmer into those mid to upper 60s, even the low 70s across the region. And here are those forecast highs for your Sunday. Many triple digits, 103 in Lewiston, 104 Tri-Cities, 96 here in Spokane. When I see you back here in a few minutes, we'll take a look at that 7-day forecast, Guy.
Well, I mean, with all these temperatures the way they are and these 90 degrees, these triple digit temperatures coming up next week, people are looking for ways to try and cool off, different ways maybe than they're used to. We stopped by Riverfront Park this afternoon. Children, families, they were all there enjoying the splash pad at the Rotary Fountain, while others were walking around enjoying the sights and the carnival that's still ongoing while seeking that ever important shade. We spoke to several people who are planning to use lakes and rivers as their choice way to cool down.
We're doing a family trip to the lake with our family coming in from town, and my parents are going to be there, her grandparents, and she's going to hang out with her cousin.
And firefighters, they're taking no chances when it comes to you and your family on the water, especially with these extreme temperatures that we're seeing. Each week, those Spokane firefighters practice water rescue training, and that training is so important over the next week with the lakes and rivers trying to beat the heat. And remember, those water temperatures are just going to be frigid. Nonstop Local's Grady Glover attended today's water rescue. And Grady, how does this training help them prepare for any situation that they're facing?
Yeah, guys, walked around and spent the day with the crew here, about 10 of them, as they were working on those water rescues. They were practicing rescuing each other, putting them on rocks and getting them from being stranded in the middle of the river. And speaking with those crews, they did tell me that this time of year is especially when they start to see those temperatures and those water rescue calls really increase.
Water group, go ahead.
Second victim is out of the water, river left.
The Spokane Fire Department's water rescue team holds trainings every weekend throughout the year. saying that the river is constantly changing and they need to be ready for any circumstance.
Yeah, well, we think about any way that a person could become trapped or needing a rescue, and we're equipped with all the tools that are required to handle that situation. So.
Connor Redding with the Spokane Fire Department says every day there are 10 members out of the 40 total people on the water rescue team assigned to respond to rescue calls. The department does have a jet boat, but as water levels drop, the kayaks and rafts they use become easier to navigate through the waters.
It's the summer or winter, we're always using kayaks. They're our most versatile tool. Usually that'll be one member operating in a kayak, and that'll leave space for us to grab a victim and bring them to shore.
With the hot temperatures next week, Redding says that getting too cold in the river is still a real possibility.
That even though the air is so warm, the moving water of the river stays cold, and it is possible to become hypothermic with that prolonged exposure into the river.
For those planning to cool off in the river this summer, Redding offers this advice.
Know where you're getting into, know where you're coming out of, and have a plan and communicate that to the people you're with and who's going to be picking you up. Now, the department gave me one final tip. They said the most important thing if you're going in the river would be to wear a life jacket. They say it'll keep you afloat and can help you avoid some of those extremely dangerous situations. Live in Spokane tonight, Grady Glover, Nonstop Local.
Grady, thank you. Important information there. And when it comes to staying cool in Spokane, all public libraries will serve as cooling centers like usual. The list of locations shown here on your screen. Regular weekday hours will be observed with extended hours only at the Central Library and only on weekends, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can also visit the Trent Resource and Assistance Center, but their surge capacity won't be ready until tomorrow. And the Gonzaga University Climate Center wants to help you beat the heat as well. They have a list of resources on their website, including a map of those cooling centers, water stations, splash pads, information on how to avoid heat-related illnesses, all that and a whole lot more, all in multiple languages. And when it comes to your air conditioner running during these extremely hot days, super important, Avista says, don't worry. The company says it has no plans for power-conserving outages. During a similar heat wave in 2021, Avista customers experienced those rolling blackouts for several days as the utility struggled in the heat. Spokane Valley utility Vera Electric also is not anticipating any disruptions this go around. And Nonstop Local is in fire mode right now, and level 3 evacuations, meaning go now, remain in place for 2 wildfires, both burning in Chelan County. You're looking at the area affected by the Beehive Fire. This is along Squilchuck Road from Hampton Road and Up Road. You can see the other evacuation levels right now directly to the northeast of the level 3 evacuations. Here's a look at the fire from about an hour and a half ago. You can see white smoke filling the air. So far, we don't know how many acres the fire has burned or if anyone has been hurt. An evacuation center has been set up at Sage Hills Church in Wenatchee. Level 3 evacuations have been expanded for the Pioneer Fire, which again is also burning in Chelan County. They now run from Price Creek down lake to Safety Harbor. There are also level 1 and level 2 evacuations in place as well there. The fire has burned more than 7,100 acres. Firefighters say it was human caused, but the specific cause remains under investigation. Tonight, the fire is expected to burn until Halloween because of its remote location. New details on a wildfire in Wenatchee that prompted level 3 evacuations. The fire broke out around 3 yesterday morning, threatening homes. Firefighters say 250 acres were burned, and the calm wind helped stop the flames from spreading. Police also arresting a 16-year-old boy for using fireworks, which is believed to have started the fire. For Alicia Geddes, it's a scene all too familiar.
We just looked up over there and we saw smoke coming up, which is where the fire was 10 years ago. These are people's homes, their livestock, their lives, and it just takes a couple minutes for a fire to rip through it. So it's just, for me, it's too much. It's too much. It's careless.
Level 1 evacuations, meaning be ready, remain in effect. As for the teen, he's likely facing multiple charges in connection with the fire for a busy couple days for Chelan County firefighters. A man threatening to shoot his mother and sister with a rifle has been arrested in Adams County. Deputies say they were called to a home on South Shake Road last night. They say the 26-year-old from Othello had been involved in a fight between family members. We're told one person had a panic attack and was treated at the scene. The man is facing assault and domestic violence charges. And a 43-year-old man arrested in the death of a Spokane woman. According to our partners at the Spokesman Review, Joshua Morris is facing charges in the death of Joanna Saunders. Her remains were found last month near Schaefer State Park in western Washington, west of Olympia. Deputies say she had trauma to her neck and her forehead. The last time Saunders was seen alive was in late May when she left a casino with Morris. Morris will be back in court later this month. An 18-year-old woman who stabbed another student during a fight at Shadle Park High School learns her sentence. Again, according to our partners at the Spokesman Review, Corinne Canova pleaded guilty to second-degree assault last month. As a part of her plea agreement, 2 of the charges were dropped. The stabbing happened back on February 1st in a bathroom. Canova will spend 4 to 9 months in the State Department of Children, Youth, and Families Juvenile Rehabilitation. Family members of those killed in Boeing plane crashes are waiting to learn if the company will accept a plea deal. It calls for Seattle-based Boeing to plead guilty to defrauding the FAA. It's all in connection with the 2 Boeing 737 MAX 8 crashes 5 years ago, killing 346 people. As Jennifer Dowling reports, the mother of one of the victims says the legal fight is far from over.
I'm enraged that the Department of Justice, which is not pursuing justice, is offering this to Boeing.
Nadia Milaron lost her daughter in the MAX 8 crash in Ethiopia.
She was believed in data. She was a data geek.
Samia Rose Stumo had just graduated with a master's in global health from the University of Copenhagen in Denmark.
She was going to help people's lives get better. And that's what she told my mom in her last conversation. She said, "I just want to make the world better, Mom."
The 24-year-old was traveling to Nairobi to perform an analysis on the effectiveness of the Gates Foundation money in Uganda. The plane crashed around 6 minutes after takeoff.
We never thought that getting on a commercial airplane would be a safety concern. I was horrified. I couldn't believe it.
When the door plug blew off an Alaska Airlines flight over Oregon and the DOJ determined Boeing violated its deferred prosecution agreement, Milaron hoped the hammer would drop.
The public should expect the Department of Justice to serve justice and to protect them from perpetrators.
However, when she learned about the details of the plea deal, she says she was taken aback by a lack of accountability for the deaths.
Death is not part of the calculation of the fine that the DOJ imposed on Boeing through this plea deal. Can you believe it?
She says the deal also allows Boeing to play a role in the selection of the independent monitor that would oversee the company.
Boeing would choose 3 monitors. The Department of Justice would look at them and say, "Oh, okay, we can't accept any of these." Then Boeing would choose 3 more like that. So supposedly it's an independent monitor, but the thing is Boeing is choosing the monitor.
She says Rule 11C1C in the plea would also tie the judge's hands during sentencing.
Boeing should go to trial on this case.
Milaron says if the deal is accepted, victims' families will keep on fighting.
We are going to court in Fort Worth, Texas, to ask him to please deny the plea deal.
And if Boeing accepts the deal, Milaron believes that the matter could go before a judge in Texas in late July. We reached out to Boeing for comment and are waiting to hear back. Sandpoint police asking for your help in trying to figure out what started that fire at a surplus store. You see those pictures there. They're asking anyone who might have been in the area for photos and videos. The fire broke out just after 10 Thursday night inside of an iconic building in downtown Sandpoint. 5th Avenue, a main drag up there in Sandpoint, was closed yesterday as a result of the fire. The Idaho State Fire Marshal is expected to be in the community on Monday to assist people living there. To make up its budget shortfall, a North Idaho school district is asking for donations. According to the Spokesman Review, the West Bonner County School District has launched 2 charitable accounts. The goal is to raise more than $1 million for education, a school resource officer, additional staff positions, and sports. The fund is being managed by the Inovia Foundation, and donors are given the option to give a long-term endowment or one for immediate use. There is additional funds for sports and extracurriculars with the goal of raising around $150,000 in the next few weeks. More than 97,000 people appear to support the initiative to create an open primary in the state of Idaho. Organizers say they are tired of people not being able to vote because the current primary is a closed system. The Idahoans for Open Primaries submitted the signatures earlier this week in Boise. To qualify for a citizen-led initiative in Idaho, campaigns must collect valid signatures from 6% of all Idaho voters who were registered at the last general election, which totaled 62,000. The Secretary of State's office is currently reviewing the signatures tonight. Those living in Quincy, Washington, trying to peel back a mystery. Turns out someone dropped 300 tons of potatoes along the railroad tracks off Columbia Way in the Grant County community. Where have I seen this before? People say the potatoes have been piling up for a week now. At this point, it isn't clear who is responsible or even if the potatoes are safe to eat. Again, shockingly familiar to what happened here in the Spokane area about a month ago. All right, coming up, a former Washington State Cougar is getting paid. Noah Schmick has the details of the big-time NBA contract later in sports.
And I'll have a look at that full weather forecast when we come back from break. We are heading into very, very dangerously hot temperatures. What you need to know coming up. And we are going to be under that weather alert through really the next week or so until Friday as of right now, because we have excessive heat on the way. Temperatures right now getting out the door here across the region. 92 degrees in Spokane, about 88 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, 94 in Lewiston, almost 100 degrees for our friends over in Tri-Cities at 99, about 96 back through Vantage. Very dry conditions in play here as well. Relative humidity as low as 15% Spokane right now, as low as 12% back through Vantage, 16% in Lewiston. So we have the dry conditions, we have the heat, but the thing that we don't quite have is very high wind. So that's good news, because when we do see all those factors coming together, that's when we look at red flag warnings. 5 miles per hour here in Spokane right now, picking up through Vantage at 17 miles per hour. So we are seeing a few breezy winds, otherwise calm, but we do have a red flag warning in place for the north and central Cascades, mainly the west slopes above 1,500 feet or so until Tuesday. So again, we're looking at humidity as low as 15 to 20% with those temperatures well into the 90s. So for that area, everything coming together there is creating that fire weather for sure. We see it here in Spokane. As of right now, though, we do not have the red flag warning in eastern Washington. We'll keep an eye on that for you, but we are looking at possible fire weather over toward the Cascades. As for those weather headlines, we're looking at things looking mostly just about the heat. That's really what the whole story is. Sunday, local highs in the 90s, some triple digits down south back through the central part of the state. Looking ahead, that heat wave in full force, dangerously hot temperatures into those triple digits here at home. That excessive heat alert map shows everything for you. Today through Friday, we are having these excessive heat warnings in place here in eastern Washington, back through central Washington, into Oregon, down into places like Orofino and Kamei, and many advisories, and those watches all the way down to Boise. So dangerously hot temperatures are definitely on the way. We want to make sure that we know the signs of those heat-related illnesses. We never keep the pets or the kids in the car, and we really are just keeping hydrated, staying inside as much as we can, and definitely lather on that sunscreen. Low temperatures overnight. We're not getting much relief overnight. 61 degrees in Spokane, about 60 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, 71 over toward Yakima. Tomorrow, we're about 96 here in Spokane. Triple digits for places like Kamei, Tri-Cities, and Vantage at 104, 103, 100 on the dot, most likely for Orofino, about 93 degrees over toward Coeur d'Alene. And we are remaining clear, dry, and sunny through the weekend and really into that extended forecast. We have this ridge of high pressure that's just continuing to stay over the Pacific Northwest. That's giving us those dry, clear, sunny conditions. So it's going to be beautiful. But again, really just going to be dangerously hot out there across the country, really. The ridge of high pressure, some warm air in that week ahead nationwide. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. You can see that really everywhere is above average, especially over toward Montana, the Dakotas, into most of Idaho, and here at home in eastern Washington, and also to the west side of the state as we head into the second week of July. We're also going to be trending a little bit drier than normal. Here is that 7-day forecast. Again, that weather alert in place through Friday, and Tuesday and Wednesday are the days we're looking at to be in those triple digits, into those high 90s, 99 on Thursday and Monday.
SWX brings you non-stop local sports coverage of your favorite teams. Check it out at swxlocalsports.com. We're on it. Live from the Northern Quest Sports Studio. This is SWX Non-Stop Local Sports.
Well, so far, Seattle's 9-game homestand was not what Mariners fans were hoping for. But the M's, they've won 2 in a row, and we're looking for a series win against the Toronto Blue Jays today. It's a sunny day for baseball in the Emerald City. M's fans looking to cheer louder than all those Blue Jays fans coming down from the border. But the Canadians had a lot more to cheer about early in this one. Alejandro Kirk launches this one to left. It short hops the wall and dies. Dalton Varsho rounds third and is going to score after a bobble on the relay home. Blue Jays get a few more runs in the 5th and the 7th, but in the 8th, J.P. Crawford can't handle the chopper up the middle. That's a big insurance run for Toronto to make it 5-0, because in the 8th, the M's find some life. Mitch Haniger was 1 for 25 until he unloads on this 3-run shot to the pen, tying Robinson Cano with 57 career homers in T-Mobile Park. Then in the 9th, Luke Raley. He's going to watch this line drive get out and stay fair over the wall and right, make it a 5-4 ball game. Just another 1-run game for the Mariners, but the luck runs out. Dominic Canzone pops up into foul territory. That insurance run, it ended up being the difference for the Blue Jays. Luckily, the Astros lost today to the Twins, so the Mariners still hold a 2-game lead in the division. Julio Rodriguez, he left in the first inning because of a knot in his right quad, and he will get that looked at tonight. They'd like to have him back in the lineup for a rubber match tomorrow morning to decide the 3-game series. First pitch just after 1 o'clock with George Kirby on the mound. Spokane Indians have won 6 straight and have a chance tonight to get a rare 6-game series sweep against their Tri-City rivals. But this game just got underway at 5 o'clock. It's 11-1. The Dust Devils had been outscored 26-6 in the games prior. And not looking too good there in the 4th inning. But because it was a series finale, that means tomorrow there's no Sunday Indians Day game. They will have the 2 days off before a 6-game homestand against the Everett Aqua Sox before they hit the All-Star break. That's when Spokane's ace Chase Dollander is going to be playing in the 25th annual All-Stars Futures game, with Dollander representing the Colorado Rockies on the National League squad. Dollander leads the Northwest League with 102 strikeouts in 67 innings. Spokane Velocity are back in action playing on their home pitch. It's a pivotal match that could go a long way in deciding if they can make the playoffs. The top 8 teams in the USL League One standings make the playoffs, and right now Spokane sits right on the cut line with Chattanooga sitting right behind them. This one just started at the top of the hour, no score in the first 45 minutes. Today, the Memphis Grizzlies announced they signed multi-year contracts with both of their NBA draft picks, and that includes second-round pick Jalen Wells. According to a report from Draft Express's Jonathan Givney, the former Washington State shooting guard agreed to an almost $8 million 4-year contract with the Grizzlies, making him one of the highest-paid players to be drafted in this year's second round. Wells is the 4th former Coug to be selected in the draft in the last 4 years, and will have the first 2 years of that contract fully guaranteed. The Grizzlies should be NBA title contenders if they can stay healthy, which they didn't do last year, along with the additions of Purdue's Zach Edey in the first round of the draft.
Heat alerts map really just paints a picture of what we're working with this weekend and all the way through that work week forecast. We're going to be under this excessive heat warning until Friday here in eastern Washington. Those advisories also lasting through Friday for most of us. Watch it all the way down to Boise for temperatures well into the 90s and into those triple digits. So just keep that in mind. Forecast highs for your Sunday, not quite 100 here in Spokane, 96, but we are seeing triple digits for many places. Tri-Cities, Vantage, Lewiston, Orfino, Moses Lake, Washtenaw, and even into Omak and Leavenworth. So many of us are going to be into those very dangerously hot temperatures. That nonstop local weather alert through Friday. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, we'll see you back here at 11. Maybe we'll jump in the pool before then. See ya.